Hi, welcome back to my channel, Mrs. Shank. If you're new here, that's me. My name's May, and today I'm going to show you how to make those impossibly soft Loft House cookies. You know, the kind that you get from the grocery store that are really soft, overly packaged, have a lot of frosting and sprinkles on top. Those guys. I finally cracked a recipe on that. I'm going to share that with you today. So these cookies come together basically like all other cookies. It's really just about what you're using in them. So this just has butter. I use the dairy-free Becel, and sugar and an egg. And then I'm going to add the extracts. You really want to add both the vanilla extract and just a pinch, just an eighth of a teaspoon of the almond extract, because it really gives it that like Loft House flavor. And then instead of adding sour cream, I almost always sub Greek yogurt for sour cream. I just prefer the taste of it, and then you get like a little extra protein. Not that these cookies are for the health conscious, obviously. Okay, so this is where the magic really happens, I think, in sifting all these dry ingredients together. There's flour, but also cornstarch, baking powder and baking soda, and cream of tartar. I'm not sure if it's the cornstarch or the cream of tartar that kind of makes it, but they're both important. And I sift them all when I put them in, but then I spend some time sifting it all together. It's hard to see, but it is really light and airy as it comes out. And I'm sure that that's part of what makes it so soft as well. Then just like a typical cookie, you add the dry to the wet slowly until it's mixed together. And in this case, we're going to pop it in the fridge for an hour. I really love this paddle that like has the spatula thing on the side of it, because it cuts down on having to stop it and scrape it all down. You still have to, but not as often. I just cover them like this, and then I'm going to pop them in the fridge for about an hour. So it's still pretty soft, as you can kind of see. It's been in the fridge for about an hour and 20 minutes or so. We're going to take half of this dough, put the other half back in the fridge, and then just work with half of it at a time. So I'm keeping the bowl out, and then I'm putting this in the fridge, and I'll just leave it in there as I work with the other half. So I've got my prepared baking sheets. I just lined them with parchment paper, and my tablespoon, my coffee of course, and the dough. And you're just working with 1 tablespoon worth of dough at a time. And you want to plop them about 2 inches apart. And then I'll show you, I'm going to use the bottom of a glass to smush them down. They're kind of haphazard right now. I'll show you how I do them nicely before I put them in the oven. And just for the record, that's how much is left from about half. So to flatten these guys out with the bottom of a glass, you're going to want to make sure that it has some flour on it so they don't stick. So these bake at 350 for about 10 minutes, but you really don't want to check on them because it might be a little more or a little less depending on your oven. You don't want them to like turn brown, just lightly golden. Okay, first batch is cooling over there, and I'm going to get the second batch happening now. Then I'll start the frosting. I'm using a ramekin dish instead of a cute glass to push these down this time, because these ones made a pattern that I don't hate it, but I think it'd be better if I didn't have that. Like it sets up a little bit better than the buttercream. So I've creamed butter and vanilla. I'm going to add in my icing sugar slowly, and then I'm going to add in some cashew milk. If you do dairy, you can use heavy cream, but if you don't do dairy, then cashew milk does the trick. And then of course, whatever like food coloring you want to add. How much liquid versus how much confectioner sugar you add in here is up to the consistency that you want. Like if you want it to be really thick, heavy on the confectioner sugar, light on the liquid. If you want it to be creamier, obviously more liquid. Too much liquid is too creamy. And you want to like whip it. So I feel like this is maybe perfect. Maybe even a little bit on the thin side. I say that and it stands up pretty stiff. But I need it to be stiff. I want it to dry. I have to transport these. I have added 2 tablespoons of the creamy cashew unsweetened cashew milk, and that's enough. Now I'm going to go ahead and tint it. 2 things to note here. 1, remember that when you add your food coloring, that counts as a liquid. So you might want to, like I just did, add another tablespoon or two of your confectioner sugar. And thing two, this Wilton Color Right Performance Color System, this is not a sponsored video. I'm sure Wilton has no idea who I am. However, this color system is incredible. So basically just gives you 8 colors, and then you can mix them together. It comes with a little sheet, like a chart, that shows you how many drops of what to mix with how many drops of what to make the right colors. Yeah, it's pretty incredible. I absolutely love this. I love Wilton Color as it is, and sometimes I'll buy just like the gel pots for very specific colors, but this is really fun to have on hand because then you can make up whatever colors you want. But because it's liquid, you have to take that into account when you're doing things like frosting, that it really depends how much liquid is going in there. So just take that into account. If you're using liquid food coloring, that counts. Okay, this is literally a single drop, and this is exactly the color I'm going for because the store's color is a baby blue. Okay, so now arguably the most fun part. You want to put the sprinkles on and whatever decoration you're putting on while the frosting is still wet, obviously. You can pat them down a little bit with some parchment paper, but they'll hold pretty well. Now, if you're in a hurry or you want them to dry so you can take them with you in some Tupperware, you're going to want to put a fan on them. That's my little hack. So I'll put them like this for about 10 minutes, and then I'll turn the cooling rack around so that these guys get more attention from the fan. So even though the dough needs to be refrigerated for an hour between making it and actually baking the cookies, they're really pretty simple cookies. They follow, standard cookie procedure, and they're so worth the effort, I think, and they're so beautiful. So when you bring them places, like I'm bringing them along to Knit Night tonight, they're pretty impressive. People usually get a kick out of them, even though they don't really take that long to make. So I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up to show some support, and please let me know in the comments if you tried this recipe out, because I do highly recommend it. I really think it's the cornstarch and the cream of tartar that make them so soft. So let me know if you tried them, or if you have a similar soft cookie recipe that you use that maybe uses those ingredients too. I'm curious to see if that's why they are that way. Also, if you're new to this channel and you like these kinds of quick recipe videos or videos on goal setting or weekly vlogs and things like that, subscribe to my channel for new videos. Thanks guys, bye!